Of West Texas, Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Number 2 Kansas in town to take on number 25 Texas Tech at the United Spirit Arena. And it could not be better labeled than that is totally the situation here tonight. I mean, they are standing and they are making a lot of noise. They want nothing more than to see the Red Raiders knock off the second-ranked team in America. Moody to jump it up against Giles. In the air, and the tip will go to Ronald Ross. Red Raiders on offense first.
Texas Tech, the best offensive team in the Big 12 this year.
Giles outside, puts up a two-pointer. Nothing there. Ronald Ross gets the long carom. Just inside the three-point line. Martin ZENO, the freshman out of Sulphur, Louisiana.
Texas Tech obviously will play man-to-man.
Hawkins working against Simien. Langford against Ross. Two outstanding athletes there. Shot clock is at 10. Here's Miles. Bouncer inside to Christian Moody. Reverses it. Unlucky on the shot and knocked it out of bounds. It'll be Tech basketball. Now let's take a look at the Mazda starting lineups. First of all, for the visitors from Lawrence, Kansas. No surprises here. Miles, Langford, and Giddens, the guards. Simien and Moody, the forwards. Ross Jackson, ZENO, Giles, and Hawkins. Joey Hawkins, a walk-on from the football team. This is his 9th game and is his first start. 6'9", 250 out of Grapevine, Texas. And what a thrill for this young guy. And I know what Bobby Knight is looking for here. Wants a little more size to combat the size that KU has inside.
Well, especially Wayne Simien. And it'll be interesting because Texas Tech had a great game plan to guard Bookout and Gray of Oklahoma. See if they do the same thing tonight.
Simien, spin move. Ball blocked. Giles got a hand on it, so he touched it last, and the shot clock will stay at 18.
Well, Davon Giles, one of the leading shot blockers in the Big 12. That time, Simien tried to play away from the basket so he wouldn't be double-teamed inside.
Giddens back over to Langford. Simien, you see the quick double. That shot well off the mark. That was an air ball, and did he get a piece of it?
I don't think he did, Ron, but that's the exact strategy Texas Tech used against Bookout and Gray. They doubled off Miles that time and gave Miles the open look.
Jarius Jackson with the basketball, the sophomore out of Monroe. Started the season maybe just a little slow, but has really come on strong in the latter part of the season. He goes against Miles. Ross. It's 2 on the line, 2.
Ron, this is a guy that has been as hot as anybody in the Big 12. Ronald Ross leading the Big 12 in scoring.
Langford spins, not there. Simien battles, Langford gets it back. Simien, that's for 3. Moody with the rebound, and now Miles gets the ball. Giddens for 3.
Well, J.R. Giddens has been red hot lately. 45% from the three-point line over the last 6 games since the loss to Villanova.
Ross puts up the runner. Not there, gets his own foul and score.
Right now, he's a first-team All-Big 12 player, Ronald Ross. He's doing it at both ends of the court.
Langford looks up at the clock, still 15 seconds. Boy, the double on Simien. Shot clock is now at 10. Giddens for another 3. Not there, and touched last by Moody.
Ron, keep your eye on Keith Langford. You pointed out on Saturday that he hyperextended the left arm, and he's wearing that sleeve for the first time this season.
He did wind up with points in the ball game. Most came from the free throw line, but after he injured it, his next 2 shots were air balls. Miles pushes it up. The bouncer, Simien, waits for traffic to get by. He'll score, and that will be against Joey Hawkins, the senior out of Grapevine, who is getting his first start tonight.
Well, Wayne Simien knows he's going to see a lot of traffic through the night, so what does he do? He beats the defense down the court where he gets the single coverage and the finish at the rim. Good hustle play by the All-American candidate.
Make it 3 points. Wayne set his own record on Saturday, 11 of 11 at the free throw line.
And I believe all 11, Ron, were in the first half. Texas Tech's motion is random, just rules now. They will pass and screen, and they also use the dribble much more than a Bob Knight team in the past.
Giles throws it away. You could see the cutter headed for the basket. ZENO. So turnover against Texas Tech. Bob Knight, 4th season as the head coach here at Texas Tech. First turnover they show against the Red Raiders, but that can't be right. That's at least 2. Ross and Miles. Langford along the baseline, the lefty. Sweet touch right there, gets it up over Jackson and scores. And for the first time tonight, Kansas on top of the ball game. They lead it by a pair.
Keep your eye on the guards in the Texas Tech motion. They've scored a lot of baskets this year off of back screens.
The foul's going to go against J.R. Giddens, his first. We'll take a timeout, 8-6.
Ended part. Always the soul of a sports car.
Kansas on top by a couple, 8-6, their first lead of the night. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Fran for Shut Up. 20-1, that's the season record for KU. They had a loss, and they lost big up in Philadelphia that really stopped the train from rolling. You're one that believes that maybe sometimes losses are good, and this one happened to be just that.
Well, I really do, Ron. The loss at Villanova a couple weeks ago refocused this team, and they've gone on a 6-0 run and outscoring their opponents by 18 a game, and the seniors have really stepped up. They realize what time of year this is.
Saturday afternoon in that ball game against Colorado up in Lawrence, Kansas, the seniors literally took it over, changed the momentum of the ball game in the second half, and they were, as Fran said, responsible for that win at home against Colorado in what had been a close basketball game. Hawkins continues to operate in the ball game for the Red Raiders. Number 50. Left side angle. Not there. Simien will come down with the rebound. ZENO off the mark. Averaging just over 13 points a ball game. Whistle and a foul inside, and that's Christian Moody. And we talked about guard play earlier. Let's go to our favorite guard. Here's Stacy Dales-Schumann.
Ron, I talked with Kansas coach Bill Self today. He said the key for his team is to handle the Tech defensive pressure and not turn the ball over. The catalyst for that defensive pressure, of course, is Ronald Ross, who leads the Big 12 with 3 steals per game. But it was Aaron Bruce from Baylor, one of the best freshman scorers in the country, that said after they played, he hadn't faced that much pressure from any player this season like he did Ronald Ross. Let's see how Aaron Miles, the best passer in the Big 12 guys, can handle it.
Okay, just as you aimed your thought, Ronald Ross right on cue knocks down the jumper.
And Ronald Ross averaging 38 minutes a game since Big 12 play, and he has been scoring from every angle on the court, as well as locking up people at that point guard spot.
Simien, and they go right inside. Wouldn't be surprised that at the timeout, if the coaches said, hey, let's go into Hawkins. He is a walk-on, and let's see what he's made of. Get it to Big Dub and let him do his magic. Spin move, ZENO.
One of the things that's made this motion offense so effective this year is the penetration ability of Ross and Jackson. You see how Ross breaks down Langford and is able to hit the floater in the lane. Bob Knight told us, Ron, in early January that the most difficult thing to guard right now in basketball is the dribble, and he's incorporated that into that motion offense.
ZENO gets the first one to go. That foul was on Wayne Simien, his first, and the team's second.
Ron, Kansas is going to have to get out and run tonight, because if Langford is not 100% and Texas Tech double teams Simien inside, there's not going to be a lot of easy looks in the half court.
ZENO now with 4 points. 1 of 2 from the field and perfect at the free throw line. Tech back on top, 10-8. Simien had the ball tipped by Ross, and it went off his body.
Well, they worked on this play before the game, and now watch Joey Hawkins get around, but Ronald Ross recognizes the cross screen and is there to make the deflection.
Hawkins was right there, but as you could see, the ball tipped by Ross and caused the turnover. Ross gets the carom, misses the shot from point-blank range, and we've got a foul called. It's going to be Davon Giles for the hold. The officials in tonight's ball game
Ron, Giles is a guy that has to stay out of foul trouble. Over the last 10 games, he's averaging 4 fouls a game, including 3 foul outs in that stretch.
Giles couldn't believe that he was the man that was called. And right now, Daryl Dora prepares to check into the lineup. Again, they go to Simien. The quick turnaround. No juke, no put it on the floor. And Hawkins is going to have to be up to the task, or he's going to be sitting closer to Coach Knight soon.
Well, what was so good about that post move by Simien was he was able to get the shot up before anyone could come and double. Keep your eye on that ball reversal and the dish inside. There's no way for the defense to get down in time as Simien gets the shot off quickly.
Lee, first foul on him. The runner, unlucky. Simien skies for the rebound, and Lee will push it up. Simien will take another three. Not there. Sasha Khan in the lineup gets the rebound. Now Langford for three. He's off. And the rebound by Martin ZENO of Texas Tech.
Well, after going through the Big 12 football season, I don't think Joey Hawkins is necessarily intimidated by Simien.
The one thing that he probably is a little surprised at, though, is the quickness of Simien. He gets the ball and whoosh, the turnaround is already on the way. Simien goes up for another rebound and brings it down. Tied at 10, about to go under 12 to play, and at the other end in transition, Langford, ever the slasher, takes it strong to the hoop, and Coach Knight is up and screaming, let's play a little defense, fellas.
Well, he realizes that if Kansas gets out in transition, it's going to be a long night for Texas Tech.
Martin ZENO.
One of the better freshmen in this league. There's 6 of them that average double figures.
Lee, nope, not there. Langford over the back, and he'll get the foul. And as now we have a stoppage in play, a time to give you the officials. Ed Hightower just made that call. The referee, Mark Whitehead, and John Higgins are the umpires. Tied at 12. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back.
Texas Tech tied at 12. A great point guard, counts defenders on the fast break. Keep your eye on Aaron Miles now. He looks up the court, surveys the defense. He sees right here that he's got Langford and Ross running the lane, and Donovan McNabb couldn't have found Langford any better than this as he shoots by Ronald Ross. And a great dish from Aaron Miles, who is now 14th all-time in the NCAA assist record.
Well, he shows right there that pass, particularly as a bounce pass from that distance, takes a tremendous amount of accuracy. And as you can tell, Langford never had to break stride, never slowed down at all.
One thing about that bounce pass, Ron, it's a soft pass. It allows Langford to catch that ball nice and softly and gently in his hands.
So we're tied at 12. 11:33 left to play in this opening half. ZENO on the cutter. Moves back beyond the arc. Can't get it to go. That's Khan who rebounds. Moody out high with the screen. They go back inside to Moody, and the battle on the floor, and it's going to be a held ball. But tomorrow night on ESPN and ESPN2, 2 games featuring top 25 teams. First at 7 on ESPN2, UConn takes on Providence. Then at 9 o'clock on ESPN, number 3 Kentucky visits South Carolina in an SEC matchup. Super Tuesday presented by Toyota.
And I like that Kentucky backcourt. The freshman Rajon Rando, the transfer Patrick Sparks have been terrific for Tubby Smith.
Miles, a bouncer to Lee. Here's Giddens. 2 seconds on the shot clock. He did hit iron, but he didn't make the shot, so no violation.
With Simien out, there was no inside presence on that possession for the Jayhawks. Raiders kept them on the perimeter.
ZENO inside. Demir Soljagic.
It's not often you'll see a lot of screen and roll in the Texas Tech motion offense. A good call right there.
Khan made his move, got inside of Soljagic, and was right there for an easy put up and just missed it. That ball knocked out of bounds. Khan with the good quick hands to knock it away. Ron Franklin along with Fran Fraschilla coming to you from Lubbock, Texas. 14-12, Texas Tech on top with 10:05 left to play.
Just keep your eye on the white shirts as they move and cut off screens.
There's Ross. Nice cut, nice pass.
Can't do it any better than that. The little curl move into the lane.
He's now got 8. Simien back in the lineup. the pass, and Dora is going to get the foul.
Keep your eye on Ronald Ross. Keep your eye on Ross right here at the lower part of your screen as he moves off the double screen, curls into the lane. No blue shirts around. Great read of the screen by Ronald Ross. That's called intelligent movement.
First foul on Dora, fourth team foul on Texas Tech. Ross all over Langford. 4-point lead, Tech. Left all alone this time on the right wing is Langford, and he'll spin it home.
Well, it all started because Wayne Simien recognized the double team and quickly reversed it to the top.
Ross has it stolen by Langford, and they got numbers. 3-on-1. Should have been a travel, and it was.
Well, Keith Langford lost the ball, and what he's saying basically is he dribbled the ball high, and that's what Bill Self is saying. Let's see. Nope, he carried that basketball. Yep, 2 hands on the ball.
Yep.
Took the extra step with it. Eddie Hightower right on the play.
Inside 9 minutes, first half. Dora, the bounce pass. ZENO fouled by Kahn.
Well, Daryl Dora made this play with a shot fake. He's a big guy that can shoot it. Once he shot fake, he was able to use the dribble to get into the lane. Watch the shot fake. The dribble draws the defense, and then the kick inside.
Makes the first one. Stacey Dale Schumann. What do you got for us?
Well, Ron, besides taking care of the basketball, Bill Self told me we can't let Texas Tech get any easy layups out of their motion. Obviously, that only fuels the fire for their bread and butter. They've already had a couple guys.
You know, Stacey, when we were out here earlier, the students were not here in session, and I think I can really feel a difference in the crowd. How about you?
Well, I'm sitting right beside him, and I can't hear you guys, so.
That answers the question. That's really on it as a reporter there, State. Langford, spin move. Newt going to get his own rebound, and then he was fouled on the floor. And that foul will be LaQuinte White, number 33, a sophomore out of Midland, who had just come into the lineup.
Langford has shown over the 4 years that ability to get towards the lane and make something happen. That time he draws a foul.
Langford dishes it off to Kahn, and Ross is called for a hold.
Well, Langford again able to get into the lane and find Sasha Kahn, the freshman. This is something that I think if you're Bob Knight, you're going to be concerned about.
Langford, Newt, and Ross comes away with it. Texas Tech, ZENO with 8 points, Ross with 8, and the rest of the team has 2, and what a play by Dora.
Well, the young man from the little bitty town of Gonzales, Texas, really wasn't heavily recruited, but he's a big guy who can shoot it, so Simien has to honor the jumper, and that allows Daryl Dora to blow by Simien.
I had just gotten out of my mouth that the rest of the team had only scored 2 points. Now give them 4. But ZENO with 8 and Ross with 8 as they lead the way. And an opportunity here for the 3-point play and to put Tech up by 6, which he does.
You look at this Texas Tech team, Ron. Dora and ZENO and Jackson, all small-town kids who are not heavily recruited, already have had a major impact on this Red Raider program.
Miles for 3.
Well, Aaron Miles will have that shot all night long as he's the post feeder, because LaQuinte White came to double Simien, and that opened up the open 3.
Russell Robinson, number 3 in the lineup for Kansas, as you can see. And he works exclusively against Jarius Jackson right now. as Giles, C.J. Giles, comes down with the rebound for KU. On the wing, three-pointer off the mark. C.J. Giles gets the follow. And a travel called by John Higgins. Let's take a timeout. 7:22 remaining. Tech still on top. And they're still standing and cheering here in Lubbock. They like it. 21 Texas Tech, 18 Kansas. And let's talk about smart stats as far as the Red Raiders are concerned.
Well, one of the reasons Texas Tech has been so successful this year, look at the numbers. Great field goal shooting, great three-point shooting. They lead the conference in three-point shooting, even though they don't take a lot, Ron. And I was out here in October to watch 2 days of practice, and about 75% of the practice time was on offense. Most people think of Bob Knight as a defensive coach, but the offensive execution has been the reason Texas Tech is off to a good start this season.
But let me ask you this. At the walkthrough, the shoot-around this afternoon, how many times did he use the term smart?
More than once.
He said Saturday at Iowa State, we were not smart. He said tonight against this ball club, we have to be terribly smart. The bouncer, left-hander with the shot in the way, and he got it. And ZENO has got it going. He's now in double figures.
Well, he did a great job of reading that screen. His defender went under. He popped out over it and was wide open.
Soljagic picks up the foul, and while we got a stoppage in play, Stacy, you got more on the Red Raiders.
Yeah, Ron, we really shouldn't be too surprised that they shoot so well and lead the Big 12 at 45% from the three because they're disciplined, yeah, but they also shoot individually. That's aside from regular 2-hour practices, Monday through Friday. They all come in at different times on their own. The extra jump shot work, guys, has certainly paid off.
And Stacy, you remember when Coach Knight gave us that information? Actually, it was way back in Dallas in December, and he said that really was Pat's thing, that Pat Knight thought that all the individual team members should shoot more and shoot at full speed when they did.
Well, every time we're here, whether it's a walkthrough or a practice, we see guys out there. What they do, Ron, is they simulate coming off their screens as well.
Can't get it to go, and the ball is tipped away to the Red Raiders. So a 4-point game with 6.5 minutes left in this first half. Jarius Jackson.
Well, he also read the screen perfectly right there, and that freedom on the drive.
Simien. You know, Dora had perfect position. He just catches the ball, and he's beginning to move already, and the shot is on the way. There's not much you can do.
Well, and he knows he's got to get it up before the double team arrives.
Giles picks up the foul here.
Keep your eye on Jay Jackson now on the right-hand part of your screen. Miles goes under, so Jackson fades, and that gives Jackson room to get inside of the defense and hit that little 8-foot floater.
Giles picks up the foul, and he will go to the bench. Now, a young man we did not think we would see tonight. Coach Bill Self said he was going to wait a little bit longer because of the injury, but Alex Galindo has checked into the lineup.
Well, we've seen almost everybody that Bill Self has with him except Muay Yan.
Pocket is picked. Ross behind the back. The bounce, and Jackson is fouled by Galindo.
Well, Stacy talked about Ronald Ross and the quick hands that leads the conference in steals. And we saw a great example of it right here. He pokes it loose, and then he's able to get out. See the deflection, now the 2-on-1. Now, Bob Knight won't be happy with this wraparound because this should have been a 2, but Jackson will shoot a pair.
Jackson, a 79.5% free throw shooter. Jarius Jackson, one of 2 youngsters, and I mean youngsters, sophomore and freshman out of the state of Louisiana that these fans out here have fallen in love with. Jarius, a sophomore out of Monroe, and Martin ZENO, a freshman out of Sulphur, Louisiana. And if they ever stepped up and taken a big spot for the Red Raiders in basketball.
Well, just a week ago, Jarius Jackson, the player of the week in the Big 12, 32 at Oklahoma.
Simien, and it's automatic. So Jokic tried to move toward him, and the shot was already on its way.
Well, again, great recognition because Simien realized he's getting double teamed and Tech can't get down in time. 3-2 zone. We've seen this recently, Ron.
Three-pointer on the way. Nope, the ball is tipped, so Jokic tried to get it, and Giddens knocked it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Red Raiders at a fresh 35 seconds. .5:01 to play. 27-23, Texas Tech leading the #2 team in the nation. Ross, Giddens goes by him, moves inside the line, and he swishes it. And that's double figures for him. He's got 10 points.
Well, that was textbook use of the dribble versus the zone. Jackson into the gap first to draw 2 defenders, and then Ross with the head fake and dribble for the easy 2.
Also, excellent use of the clock. Giddens with a long 3. Any farther out, he's got to buy a ticket, and they give him a pom-pom. Wow. 3-point game. ZENO off the mark. Langford comes away with for KU. Giddens left all alone. 3-ball, got it. Back to back, and that's killer. Nobody got out on him, and this ball game is tied all of a sudden at 29 apiece.
Well, there might be better shooters in the country, Reddick, Stoudemire, et cetera, but J.R. Giddens gets it off as quickly as anybody.
Jackson for 3. That'll bring the crowd right back into it.
This is not your father's Texas Tech offense. They really move the ball, shoot it. They know what they're doing.
Miles at the free throw line, got it. Tech by 1. About to go under 3 minutes to play. Did we have injury? Did we have blood?
I think it was injury.
Yeah. Okay, so Hawkins has been called back to the bench. And let's take a timeout for commercial. 3:01 remaining. 1-point ball game. Texas Tech. We'll be right back to a good one. Playing a huge part in this ball game. The new top 10. Illinois, Kansas, then Carolina 4, Boston College 6, and Oklahoma State sitting there in the #7 position out of the Big 12 Conference.
More than likely, 2 Big 12 teams could go to Oklahoma City, so Oklahoma State would love to have that quasi-home court advantage.
Ball is turned over. Red Raiders have not done a great deal of that. Now let's talk about, as you look at field goals, KU 11 of 18. They started off the night 1 of 9. And listen to this figure. 12 made field goals. They have 10 assists on those 12.
Well, they have really weathered the storm of Texas Tech's offensive explosion.
Christian Moody. And give the assist to Miles, who saw him all the way. Got the lob pass up there. And that will put the visitors from KU back on top. Lead it by 1.
Well, Aaron Miles will go into 12th place tonight, all-time in the NCAA in assists.
Jackson.
He's
got double figures.
If you're going to play zone, you have to know where Jackson and Ross are because of how well they shoot the 3.
Ross with 10, ZENO with 10, now Jackson with 10. Lee The bouncer inside to Simien. Not there. Moody tips it back out, and Moody fouled. It went over the back of Dora.
Well, obviously there was a renewed emphasis on double teaming Simien because that time he didn't have the breathing room. Watch the ball come inside and watch Jay Jackson get there quickly, and that forces Simien to take a tough turnaround shot.
Ninth team foul. Dora gets the first one. Darrell is 71% free throw shooter. Second one on the way, and he got that one as well. Texas Tech 9 of 10 at the free throw line. Moody with the screen out high, and Mills has it taken away, and it was touched last by KU.
Well, Jay Jackson again harassing Aaron Miles. Great pressure forced him to change direction, and he forced the turnover.
.125 left first half. 4-point Tech lead.
Well, 4 Red Raiders shoot 46 or better from beyond the arc.
Shot clock is now at 10. Ross looks up at it. Jackson. 5 seconds. Down to 4. Dora's going to take the 3. In and out. Wouldn't go. Simien rebounds. And Bill Self says, get it up the court. Let's get down there and get set. Or take it onto the hoop and slash one. Simien just inside the three-point line. Ross will rebound.
Even though there's a 3-second difference, Texas Tech can still work this clock down to the end. And there's a chance Kansas may not get the possession.
4-point ball game. If Tech would like to go in at halftime leading at least by 6, if not 7. Jackson yo-yos, looks up at the clock, 12 seconds, 11, and now down to 10 in the shot. Ross pulls up, kisses it off the ground. Timeout called by Bill Self, and John Higgins, he almost knocked him over, calling the timeout.
Well, that was the use it or lose it timeout. I'm not sure it wouldn't have been better to get it in quick and use Miles in transition. This will allow Tech to set up a defense, but excellent execution of the clock, and watch the dribble penetration and the floater. If you're a guard, you need this shot in your repertoire. The slow up and the pull up off the glass.
Boy, in Big 12 games this season, look at the numbers on Ross, Jackson, and ZENO. And tonight, folks, it's just the first half. Ross with 12, Jackson and ZENO with 10 apiece. This is a 7-0 run by the Red Raiders in the last 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Ron, we've talked about the Texas Tech offense all year. They're 13-0 when they score 75 points or more, and right now they're headed towards that number.
So the situation, KU will have 5.6 seconds on the clock to take it the distance and try to get a shot off. A reminder coming up on the UPS halftime report. Chris Fowler, Digger Phelps, and Mike Jarvis. Pitt Syracuse down to the wire. Big man on campus, and can Savannah State win a ball game? They are 0-27.
Well, they've got to beat the Rattlers of Florida A&M at home. Mike Gillespie's team, an NCAA team a year ago. And Ron, even though Bill Self called this timeout at 98% of the time, it's a good move. I would have rather had the ball in Aaron Miles' hands in transition off of that last field goal.
Texas Tech now calls a timeout. Well, Wednesday night, turn back the clock with ESPN as the Virginia Cavaliers take on the nation's top scoring North Carolina Tar Heels. Be sure to check out the throwback look on ESPN Days Gone By. ACC Wednesday, presented by Staples, 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Well, I wonder if we'll see Ralph Sampson and Ricky Stokes and Perkins and Doherty and Worthy. Probably not. But we might see those uniforms.
A couple of those guys you might try to recruit, particularly the Cavs. 6-point lead, 5.6 seconds left. Coach Knight called the timeout once he and his staff got a look at the personnel grouping that was coming off the bench for the Jayhawks.
Well, let's see if Jackson and Ross can corral Kansas and slow them down. Again, I would have rather had Aaron Miles on the move.
Clock running down, 3 seconds, down to 2, gets it off in time. Finger roll, he misses it. And let's go to Stacy and Coach Knight.
Coach, how pleased are you with your motion offense, high percentage shot, shooting 50%?
Well, this is half of a game. We did a pretty good job, and so have they. It's been a game where both teams have really played hard. That's what the game should all be about.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, Stacy, thanks very much. At halftime, 39-33, the Red Raiders. Now let's send it to Chris Fowler with the UPS halftime report. Chris?
All right, Ron, thank you. Digger Phelps and Mike Jarvis alongside. Coach Knight knows it's a 40-minute game, and he also knows you get one question at halftime, and he's out of there. We'll talk more hoops coming up, guys. But first, there is no good news from the NHL.
Yes, I gave up my team for a win over Kansas. At halftime, 39-33, the Red Raiders of Texas Tech leading the #2 team in the nation. Folks, in the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds, the Red Raiders did not allow a point. And J.R. Giddens, if he doesn't hit the 2 long threes back-to-back, they would be really down in the hole to open the second half of play.
Well, you're right, Ron. Texas Tech, we talked about their offense. They run the offense as well as any team we've seen in the Big 12 this year. But the big three have been the 3 guards for Texas Tech: Jackson, ZENO, and Ross. Not only 32 points, but how about 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and only 2 turnovers, which the general will like. J.R. Giddens, as Ron mentioned, keeps Kansas in it with some 3-point shooting.
So the Mazda first half stats. Texas Tech 50%, 42 for the Jayhawks. One other thing to note, that as far as KU is concerned, they had 13 made baskets, and off of those 13, they had 11 assists. So all has not gone badly for them. But the 2 long back-to-back 3-pointers certainly kept them in the first half of play.
Well, you're right, Ron. They only had 6 turnovers. It's been more what Texas Tech has done so well on the offensive end.
Now partially what Coach Knight told Stacy, and also what he told his team today at the shoot-around. Well, we got 20 minutes of partially smart basketball behind us, but we got to get 20 more if you're going to be a team like Kansas.
Well, they had a lead against Oklahoma State in early January, and they played too quickly, I thought, in the second half of that game.
Giles unlucky on the shot. He'll go to the line for a couple. Stacy, quickly, let's check in with you. You visited with Bill Self.
Yeah, I just talked with Bill Self at the half. He said exactly what you said, Ron. We've got a guard. Their big 3 had 32. That's unacceptable. He said offensively, quit settling for the outside shot. Get the ball inside, guys.
Okay, thanks very much. By the way, happy Valentine's Day. Deep breath, bends the knees, and he got that one. So it's a 7-point ball game at 40-33.
The key now will to see how Texas Tech guards Wayne Simien in the low post.
Langford, he's going to take it onto the hoop. That is a great touch as he gets it over the outstretched arms of Davon Giles.
And one of the things Langford did as he came off that screen is he waited to see if Simien would be open. The defender stayed with Simien, and Langford was able to hit it.
Ross, great look inside, the pass from ZENO.
Well, Texas Tech's guards move off those back screens as well as anybody you'll see.
Langford.
Just remember how hot Keith Langford has been. 22 points a game in his last 3 games as he comes down the end of his senior year of a brilliant career.
Here's Ross. Passed up the three. ZENO will not. Simien touched it last. No, they're going to say that it was touched last by Hawkins. You talked about Langford, and he comes out hot here in the second half. And KU needs his help right here.
Well, the strength of Keith Langford has been his ability over 4 years to get into the lane and get good shots at the basket. 2 examples to start the second half.
Bouncer to Simien for the quick jump hook, and he's got it.
Well, great set play as they screen across inside, and again, Tech not able to double him, and Simien makes him pay.
Moody kicked the ball or knocked it away, and Langford comes up with it, and he'll push it up the floor. Miles back over to Simien. Stacy, you got more on Langford and what he's been doing as the ball is knocked away from him, and a foul is called on Jarius Jackson. Stacy got this thing.
Yeah, Ron, if you take a look at his shoes, they're black. In the first half, they were white and blue. Anytime Keith Langford has a bad half of basketball in his mind, he changes his shoes in the next half. That's what he's done, guys, and he's come out hot.
Okay.
Can we go back and change our ties if we have a bad first
No,
half?
I thought that's the reason you were wearing slippers. Moody back over to Miles. And it looks like Hawkins, Hawkins will pick up the foul.
Well, one of the things the football player does in each half is he's able to absorb a couple fouls, and that will that'll give an extra body with which to bang Simien with.
Well, 2 team fouls on him, 2 on Tech in the second half. Drives it strong to the hoop on the floor, and they battle for it. Held ball, who's it going to be?
Well, great hustle by Joey Hawkins. He went to the floor. Of course, he's used to that. 7 catches as an inside receiver this year for that Texas Tech football team.
Here at this arena, we are on the opposite side from where the arrow points. And on the inbounds pass, they get it to Langford to score. Obviously, the arrow showed that it would stay with KU.
Well, a great inbounds play, and that's great communication between Miles and Langford.
17-17 left in our ball game in regulation. Coach Knight was hot over the call on Hawkins. Normally you'd say plain possum, but out in this part of the world it's plain armadillo.
Well, keep your eye on Keith Langford. He's going to play possum right here. Miles looks at him. He sees Ross does not see the ball, so at the last possible moment, Miles throws the lob and Langford catches it and lays it in. You think they've done that a few times in 4 years?
You know, the amazing thing is just like off the opening tap where they go for the alley-oop, and also on the inbounds pass. It is very simple, and that's exactly what they look for, which you just pointed out there. Ball will stay with Texas Tech. 26 seconds on the shot clock. ZENO slashes to the hoop, changes hands, and scores with the left.
Well, I talked to an NBA scout at halftime, and he said Martin ZENO may be the best freshman two-guard prospect he's seen this year. You see an example of that athletic ability.
Moody, the lob inside, and he threw it into traffic. Here comes Ross. ZENO, brother Jackson on the wing. And Jackson back into the middle. Ross left alone for 3.
Big 2 possessions. Ross shoots 53% from behind the arc.
Bill Self has seen enough. Will hold it right here as he calls a timeout, and it's back to a 6-point lead, Red Raiders.
Well, Ross Self with the athletic. Well, Ross Self with the athletic. And then watch on this pass now. There you see that athletic ability. And then Joey Hawkins came up with a catch just as big as those 7 on the football field during the year. Gets it to Ross, who knocks down the 3.
Which has to make amends for his taking his eye off the inbounds pass just a moment ago. Those are red, violets are blue. Texas Tech takes out number 2. And Stacy, let's check back with you.
Hey guys, it's really amazing that Ronald Ross has become one of the best players in the Big 12 since he came to Tech as an under-recruited walk-on that Knight liked the potential of. Knight told him, I'll give you a scholarship when one frees up. He followed through after 2 seasons, and now he's the captain for this team.
Well, Ronald Ross played in a run-and-gun system at Hobbs.
Hawkins with the steal, and he loses it. Moody comes back with it. They try to tie it up. It's on the floor. It'll stay with KU.
That might have been a possession where Joey Hawkins just picked up the basketball and held it.
And held it, yes.
Because he's obviously not used to handling the ball in the open court. But great hustle by the senior, who's come right off the football field in the last month and a half.
Boy, this crowd is going absolutely bonkers. You'd think it's Halloween, not Valentine's. Inside to Simien. Backs up on Hawkins. Got it to Kahn, and the ball is blocked and a foul is called. Dora picks up the foul. Let's take a break. 6-point lead, Texas Tech. We'll be right back. Well, it is Valentine's here on the South Plains in Lubbock, Texas, and some of the love being shared on this very special day. The officials are out, and I think once that was over, all the love might be over as you look at this discussion between Coach Knight and tonight's referee, Ed Hightower. And here's Bubba. And Bubba gives a Valentine's kiss to our own favorite guard, Stacy Div, and Stacy's even fanning herself. Obviously, it worked partially. Sasha Khan gets the first one to go.
Well, we talked during the break. That's a rarity. Sasha Khan coming in, shooting only 5 of 22 from the foul line.
Second one on the way, and he got that one as well. So it cuts it to a 4-point ball game. Dora, the bounce pass inside. Back to Dora. He'll take the 3 well off the mark on that one. And now KU with numbers. The bounce pass. Langford, and the ball is blocked by Dora, and he's called for the foul.
Well, one of the problems with that foul is it looked like he lost the ball, but Aaron Miles did a great job right here. He knew that he had Langford on the wing, so he went opposite of him and came back with the ball.
He didn't even have the ball, you're right.
See, Langford lost the ball before the foul.
That's 3 on Dora also. Boy, if anything, you would think it would be a no call since the ball had already come loose. Because he didn't cause anything as far as changing the play.
Ron, this is about the same place where we were when Oklahoma State made that run in here back in early January after a brilliant Texas Tech first half.
Well, we'll see if the Red Raiders can stand up and prevent that from KU. They lead by 3. 15 minutes to go in this one. Miles almost got the steal, and the ball is still alive. Nope, they're going to say it was out of bounds.
That's right.
John Higgins says it will stay with Texas Tech. 17 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, what John Higgins recognized was when the ball hit him, he was out of bounds. He had to look down at his feet to make sure, and that's when he signaled that Texas Tech would keep the basketball. The ball can hit off the referee. If he's on the court, it's a live ball. But if it hits him out of bounds, the ball is out of bounds. Good officiating right there by John Higgins.
12 seconds on the shot clock. Falling backwards, ZENO.
Well, what makes him so dangerous is not just the athletic ability, but his ability to knock down that mid-range jumper, particularly in this motion offense.
Kahn out high with the screen on Ross. Langford settles, shoots it. Langford gets the rebound and gets it back to Giddens for three. Simien just picked up his second foul. Ron Franklin, Fran Fraschilla, Stacy Dale Schumann coming to you from a wild and excited United Spirit Arena on the campus of Texas Tech University. Filled to capacity, and a huge one as undefeated Kansas trying to stay unblemished in league play. And right now they're trailing. Boy, he stepped on the inbounds line, and Mark Whitehead now calls an offensive foul. Let's see which one takes precedent over the other.
Well, it looks like they're going to signal the ball out of bounds. Watch Giles now. They say he stepped out before the chicken wing on Sasha Khan. So the violation before the foul. And what Kansas did right there was double team Giles and force him to make a move in traffic.
About to go under 14 minutes left in regulation. Here's Miles, looks up at the clock, plenty of time, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Langford. Giles shut off the lane. He wanted to slash it right to the hoop. Shot clock is now down to 10. Here's Miles, and it is blocked by Devon Giles. Simien comes away with it. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Down to 3, and he switches it.
Well, I can't believe Tech left Simien. Simien looked at the far shot clock to realize he had 4 on the clock before he shot it, but everybody ran away from Simien.
Very smart on his part to make sure that he knew where the shot clock was. Double team inside, and he still scores. Giles. So everything KU can come up with. Right now, the Red Raiders have an answer as Kahn will knock down the jump hook, and it cuts it back to a three-point game.
Well, the freshman from Tomsk, Russia, has played more lately, and he has been effective, particularly inside.
Here's ZENO, the left-handed dribble, back over to Giles. They force him to the sideline, puts up an air ball, and touched last by KU. It'll stay with the Red Raiders. 19 seconds on the shot clock. Stacy, let's check back with you.
Fellas, just a point of observation. Very interesting that this is the first point at which Texas Tech is substituting at the 12:50 mark. Fran, can fatigue become any kind of a factor?
Well, it really can, Stacy. If you look at Jackson and Ross in Big 12 play, Ron, they're averaging 38 minutes a game and only 32 minutes overall. So it definitely can be a factor.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Ross makes the pass. Giles, I'm not sure he knows. Inside, and a whistle and a foul on the floor. Simien just picked up his 3rd foul. Soljagic, I don't think he saw the clock either.
Well, and there were only 4 seconds, and Simien has got to realize you don't want to foul a freshman who's not used to really operating in traffic.
And with the 3rd foul, they have to get Simien out of the ball game, and that means that Christian Moody will check in quickly. Jackson.
Well, he's got that one-handed floater down, which is really important because he doesn't have to take it all the way to the basket and worry about an offensive foul.
Lee inside to Moody. Soljagic works against him, and he tried to step through, and Soljagic will pick up the foul. Second foul on him.
And Ron, this is where Joey Hawkins is so important. He was able to start both halves, pick up a couple fouls, and yet Tech still has depth inside because of that.
5-point lead, about to go under 12 minutes left in regulation. Langford takes it to the hoop and scores. Offensive foul. Erase the basket.
Well, Davon Giles had great position. We talked about Langford's ability to slash in the lane. Giles knows the scouting report, so he holds his ground, takes the charge away from the rim. A great defensive play by the senior from Newark, New Jersey.
Keith Langford picks up his second foul, and it maintains the 5-point lead as we go under 12 minutes. Huge play, and put an asterisk by that one as it erased a basket and also gave a foul to a very important player in this ball game. Jackson back over on the wing. ZENO, the runner, in and out, wouldn't go, and there's Codd who rebounds, and a foul is over the back. It was Giles, and that's 3 on him. Let's go away for a moment. 11:44 left in regulation, still Tech by 5. 53-48, Texas Tech on top. You know, here on ESPN College Basketball, we have a feature called On This Date. Well, how about On This Name? You see, because it's February the 14th, we think it's appropriate to look back at the career of Kansas great Darnell Valentine. Valentine finished his outstanding Jayhawk career in the top 5 in scoring and assists, and is Kansas' all-time steals leader. Darnell Valentine on Valentine's night, Big Monday.
Well, that's one record that Aaron Miles probably won't get, but one more steal and he'll pass Danny Manning. You know, Danny Manning chipped in 250 steals to go along with those 2,900 points and 12 rebounds.
Here's how close this ball game is. In the second half in scoring, KU 6 of 10, Tech 6 of 10. I mean, they're about as even Steven as you can get. And that's how we stand with a 5-point ball game, 53-48.
Well, one of the things that's impressed me, Ron, has been the execution of both teams on the offensive end.
Here's Miles.
Now there's no Simien and no Langford out there right now, so let's see where Kansas can manufacture some points.
Tried to get it inside. He stepped on the baseline. Took it as far as he could. Soljagic did a good job of creating an angle he had no way to get the ball out of there from, but he stepped on the end line.
Well, when you get your foot on that end line becomes that second defender. You're absolutely right, Ron.
About to go under 11 minutes in regulation. Giles, Moody comes over with the double team. They get it back to him. He reverses this one, and they're going to call an offensive foul on Giles.
Well, and Giles should have been smart enough to realize that he probably wasn't, that the last time he got away as he picks up his 4th foul with the chicken wing. Watch him now. You see right there that right arm gets extended, and that's just not smart basketball because Texas Tech needs Davon Giles on the court. Remember, Ron, in Big 12 play, Giles is averaging 4 fouls a game, so he's right at his average. They need him on the court.
By the way, now 17 fouls on the Red Raiders. It'll be 1-1. That, of course, an offensive player possession foul, and we've got a whistle and a foul called here on Soljagic. And now it's 1-1.
Well, now
they're saying you can't hold it. You know, you do in Europe, you can't do it here.
That's it. And that's his 3rd foul. So now Giles 4, Soljagic 3. And Joey Hawkins has 2 fouls.
He got it. Now let's have a look at our Nike game track. KU 5 of 12 from beyond the arc. Langford 14 points. For the Red Raiders, 53% free throws are field goals. And Ronald Ross, what a night for him. 17 points as he continues to lead this ball club in a big way.
Well, 15 total turnovers for both teams, so the offensive play has been very, very solid.
Jackson gets it across in plenty of time. 3-point game. Texas Tech on top. ZENO drives it strong to the hoop. He'll go to the line for a couple.
Well, you see the aggressiveness of the freshman from Louisiana.
Tomorrow night on ESPN and ESPN2, 2 games featuring top 25 teams. UConn takes on Providence at 7 Eastern in high def on ESPN2. And then on ESPN, it is Kentucky taking on South Carolina. Kentucky, of course, number 3 ranked in the country. Super Tuesday presented by Toyota. Got the second one and moves it out to a 4-point margin.
Boy, Ron, this is one of the few times this season I've seen Keith Langford at the point.
Simien gets the rebound. He's going to turn and take the shot, and he gets it.
Well, in recent weeks, Wayne Simien has expanded his game and his range because he has become deadly from 15 feet.
Simien now with 17 points. 10 minutes left in regulation. We have played one half of the second half, and diving for the basketball, trying to make a play was Giddens, and he just picked up a foul, and that's his second within the last 60 seconds.
Now, this is what makes Simien so tough right here. You see the great grab of the offensive rebound. Suljagic doesn't get out to get him. And you can see the excitement by Simien. He's really expanded that offensive repertoire. Tech needs good shot selection right now.
ZENO. Nope. Simien will come away with the rebound. And all of a sudden, Texas Tech maybe a little more reticent on offense, where they were just without fear earlier in this ball game. Simien not there. Langford skies, and he was fouled on the way back up.
Well, the freshman ZENO falling asleep on the weak side. That allowed Langford to have the backside of the rim all to himself. Keep your eye on that shot. Watch ZENO ball watch, and that allowed Langford to get a piece of that offensive rebound.
And Doro, just not a good foul because he had no place close to having position, and that's his 4th foul. So he joins Giles for the Red Raiders with 4 personals.
Well, that's been one Achilles heel for Langford this year at the free throw line, only 63%.
Missed them both, but Moody tips it back to him, and he misses that one. Moody with another rebound. Lee tries to slash, and the foul is called on Joey Hawkins.
Well, that's his 3rd foul, and that time it looked like Dora didn't want to pick up a 5th foul, so Moody had a clear offensive rebound opportunity.
Well, Stacy, you got more on the man who stands at the free throw line.
And guys, it's interesting. We've seen a couple of offensive boards here. It was Michael Lee that told me yesterday that is the key for this team if they want to get to the Final Four. Rebounding offensively for second chance points and rebounding defensively. Get out in transition, guys.
Okay, thanks, Stacy. Second one on the way, and he got it. We got a 1-point ball game.
Rare free throw miss, Ron. He was 16 of 17 coming into tonight. 94%. You don't see that from Michael Lee.
ZENO pumps, scoring. He'll go to the line. And the foul is on J.R. Giddens, his 3rd.
How about this freshman? Sulphur, Louisiana, not highly recruited. You pointed out earlier in the year they found him at an AAU tournament.
Isn't that amazing? On a Saturday night when no other coaches were around, and Coach Knight went up to see him. A group of all-stars from Texas against a group of all-stars from Louisiana, and he hadn't seen him even the entire ball game, and he picked up his mobile cell phone and he called Pat, his son, and said, hey, get rid of or mark off one of those scholarships, because I got a kid, we're going to give one of them too. He is unbelievable.
Well, we've seen some great freshmen in this league. Hard to believe 11 freshmen and sophomores are in the top 20 in scoring in the Big 12.
Langford got it. He has been relentless. 16 for him now.
Well, Langford took that ball right through Darryl Dora, who could not afford to pick up the 5th foul.
Hawkins overcompensated for where he was and missed the layup. Wow.
Well, he had made his last 4 field goals as well.
KU can tie or go in front. Langford not there. Hawkins rebound. You can see some tired players out here right now for both teams. No one came streaking up the court right then. About to go under 8 minutes to play.
Well, every possession is like gold now for Texas Tech.
Ronald Ross looks up at the shot clock, then looks over to the bench, gets his call. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dora, shot clock is at 5. The bounce pass, and he's going to turn it over as Langford will come up with the basketball.
And he called a timeout.
So we'll hold it right here. It's a 2-point game, and it will be, is that right, KU's basketball?
KU's ball. They have 2 timeouts left. A smart play by the senior to come up with the possession.
Well, Wednesday night, turn back the clock with ESPN as the Virginia Cavaliers take on the nation's top-scoring North Carolina Tar Heels. Be sure to check out the throwback look of ESPN Days Gone By. ACC Wednesday, presented by Staples, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Coach Bob Knight 0 for 4 against KU. You see the numbers.
Well, that's been some pretty good Kansas basketball teams that have rolled through here and in Lawrence.
The thing that Coach Knight and any coach gets really upset about is like Dora all of a sudden dribbled into no man's land, had no place to get rid of the basketball, and had no idea how much time was on the shot clock. That is just giving away a turnover.
Well, he panicked, obviously. He saw that clock running down, and not a one-on-one player.
Moody. Michael Lee. Yep, that's a 2.
Well, you got 3 seniors on the floor for Kansas.
We're tied, 57.
These seniors, 107 wins, 22 losses.
Dora.
No hesitation that time. Came off the curl screen, inside the foul line, calmly knocked it down.
Tech back up by 2. Well, they want Simien, but big Joey Hawkins doing a nice job of leaning on him inside. Simien tries to put a line move on him to take it down the baseline. Shot clock, 6, down to 5, down to 4. In and out, won't go. ZENO comes up with the rebound. Michael Lee had a good look.
An outstanding defense by Ronald Ross. He made Lee take a good shot, but contested it.
Here's Ross. Holds up with the jumper. Got it.
Well, this might be the most underrated backcourt easily in the Midwest, and possibly one of the most underrated in the country.
ZENO caused the turnover. Wow. Take a break. Tech 61, KU 57. We'll be right back.
Hey.
Texas Tech leading 61-57. And Stacy, you've got an extremely interested observer there with you, don't you?
I do, Ron, indeed. We're joined by Bill Self's father, Bill Self Sr. Mr. Self, your son hit a lot. Your son hit
You say Bill, the coach? Yeah, I think as a senior in high school, he had 6 or 7 game-winning shots. Lucky, probably.
At what point did you realize that he would be a big-time coach?
Oh, I knew he wanted to coach when he was about a junior in high school.
What's this game come down to?
I'm sorry?
What does this game come down to?
Free throw.
Thank you for joining.
I'm afraid we're going to be on the short end.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thanks, Stacy.
Now, Bill Self better hope it doesn't come down to free throws. Texas Tech shoots 78% from the foul line.
Texas Tech. ZENO, nope, the tip inside. Hawkins couldn't get it to go. I beg your pardon, that was Jokic.
Well, they set up a great matchup as ZENO was able to beat Moody on the baseline.
Giddens inside to Simien. So Jokic is on him, not there, and the ball is taken down by Jackson.
Boy, Jay Jackson contorted his body, stretched, turned sideways, came up with the ball.
Jay Jackson, now that is 12 points and 2 rebounds for him. ZENO.
Well, you see there with Kansas in zone, Tech trying to exploit matchups within the zone. I wouldn't be surprised to see it reversed.
Bounce pass inside to Jokic. Right at his shoelace top. Other end, three-pointer on the way, and it's Miles who makes it a one-point ball game. Tech by 1. And Ronald Ross with a fist in the air says, come on. Well, we've worked too hard to come here and make silly mistakes like that.
Well, Miles, a career 30% three-point shooter, but 55% as a senior. See, there's that matchup in the corner Tech would like to exploit. ZENO on Moody in terms of dribble penetration.
Shot clock is at 8. Jackson quickly back over to Ross. 5 seconds, down to 4. Ross going to have to hurry, puts up a prayer. Wow. Got it! At the buzzer!
This guy will be first team all conference. There's some great guards in this league. Curtis Stinson, John Lucas III, but Ronald Ross is leading the conference in scoring. He is a do-it-all player.
And the ball's going to be hit. Jackson works against Miles, scoring!
Well, we talked about the quickness and the quick hands of the Texas Tech guards tonight. Perfect example right there.
On the run, shot off the mark. Simien battles for the rebound, and he gets the follow.
Well, what do you expect from your All-American? He just stayed with it and was able to come back on the other side of the basket to score.
Jokic picks up the foul. That is his 4th. So he joins Dora and Giles with 4 personal fouls. Ross at the buzzer, and he canned it. Texas Tech holding on to a 3-point lead. Simien trying to dig into it, and he does. So with 3:22 left in regulation, it's a 2-point ball game. Can the Red Raiders extend it or hold on? 3 of their big men with 4 fouls.
Kansas back in that 3-2 zone. We've seen them use it more and more down the stretch of the season. Tech will try to exploit the matchup with Moody and ZENO.
ZENO steps into Simien. Shot clock is at 6. Down to 5. Down to 4. Jackson way outside. Unbelievable.
No surprise.
At 24 feet.
Both Jackson and Ross shoot over 46% from 3. We talked about the offensive proficiency of Texas Tech coming into the game, and that's what we've seen tonight.
He's got it, and a timeout is called by Bill Self. And it's back to a 2-point ball game.
30-second timeout.
Well, 3-pointers, 7 of 14 and 4 of 9.
Well, Texas Tech shoots the least amount of threes in the Big 12, but they also are the best three-point shooting team from the behind the arc, 45%. But how about Aaron Miles? Knocks down another three after coming into the season shooting only 30% from the three-point line.
Well, Shooting the Rock brought to you by Rock Green Light. You see the numbers. And I'll tell you what we're going to get a check on here. We need to know offensive rebounds by Kansas in the second half and how many baskets, second chance baskets, that has led to, because Simien, again, a moment ago they had 13 offensive boards and 10 second chance points, and I think it's gone up by at least a couple of hoops since then. Offensive boards have been huge. 2-point game, about to go under 2 minutes left.
Well, Tech will work Martin ZENO on the baseline, so Yagic and Dora will screen. And then you have the two brilliant guards out front looking to drive those gaps.
ZENO, three. Nope. Simien gets the rebound.
Well, perfectly executed, Ron. They had the screen on the baseline, and ZENO didn't knock it down, but a good look.
Simien, by the way, who got that rebound, 11 points this half. Miles gets it to Langford, squares up, short of the shot, here comes Ross. He'll push it and now think better of it and set it up.
Well, Bob Knight benched Ronald Ross at Texas Christian early in the year to send a message that he needed leadership from him, and he has responded big time in the Big 12.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. At 13, down to 12. 7 seconds, down to 5, down to 4. The spin move by Jackson gets away a prayer. He didn't touch iron. Shot clock violation.
Now, if Kansas had possession of the ball, then it would be back to Texas Tech, and that's what they're going to discuss. If there's no possession of the ball, then we have a shot clock violation. Keep your eye on who comes up with the basketball. Does Simien have it? I say no. I don't think Simien ever had the ball, so that would mean it's a shot clock violation. And that's a tough bang-bang call. They can't review it at the monitor, but they're discussing it right now. And Eddie Hightower is going to explain. They're trying to determine if they had possession. Now, this is a tough call because it looks like Simien grabs the rebound underneath the back.
Jackson shot falling away.
And I think he doesn't have possession. Eddie Hightower is watching the ball the whole time and is right on top of the play.
So Yagic will come to the bench. Sports Center coming up next, but not before 51 or 58.1 seconds left in this thriller here on the South Plains in Lubbock, Texas. Number 2, KU battling for their life. They're down by 2. Clock under 1 minute. Inside to Simien, and the All-American puts it back outside. Giddens off the mark, and it's taken away by Ross with 39 seconds left.
Kansas will have to foul.
Ross got to get it across midcourt. He does, and now ZENO is fouled by Moody, and the clock shows 31.6 seconds. Now the scenarios. If he gets both of them, it is a two-trip ball game at 70-66.
Well, Texas Tech has 6 players that shoot over 78% from the foul line. ZENO at 79%.
Bill Self is up, making his call to his team, covering the what-ifs. And now here comes ZENO. Listen how quiet it gets in the arena. He missed it. He missed the front end of the 1-and-1, an opportunity to make it a two-trip game. Right now, KU can tie, or they could go in front. 20 seconds remaining. Giddens for 3. No. Simien. Langford skies for the rebound. The foul has been called on Ronald Ross.
Ross and Langford went in the air, but Langford went a little bit higher. Langford looked like he was on a pogo stick right here. Keep your eye on the shot and then where Keith Langford comes from. Reaches over Ronald Ross, comes up with the basketball. Whew. Now, Ron.
Now, that's close to being over the back also.
Langford is not a good foul shooter. Only 64%. 63.
Got it. One more to tie. 15.8 seconds as his mom looks on. One-point game. Langford with one more try.
Be interesting to see if Tech calls timeout on the second make.
Misses it. ZENO comes up with a rebound and a whistle and a foul on Kansas.
Martin ZENO's got a smile on his face. He looked over at the bench. He's nodding his head. He said, I'll make these.
You talk about the play of this tandem of guards for the Red Raiders. Ross at his average, Jarius Jackson at his average, and Martin ZENO almost a half dozen over his average.
Well, Texas Tech out here on the South Plains hasn't got a lot of attention in January and February, so people around the country are just finding out about these goals.
Kansas, of course. On top, unblemished in conference play, 10-0. Oklahoma State pulling real hard for the Red Raiders right now, and the Red Raider fans pulling real hard for the Red Raiders as well. It would make them 8-3.
Well, you and I have seen Texas Tech play poorly early in the year, but we've also talked about how dangerous they are because they're so good offensively.
Texas Tech in the first half, 9 of 10 from the free throw line. They are 3 of 6 here in the second half.
Well, we mentioned that they shoot 78% from the foul line, the best in the Big 12. Remember, Ron, Kansas is out of timeouts, so Kansas will have the ball back either down 1, 2, or 3. And each situation presents a different challenge for them with which to tie this ball game or take the lead. And it'll be, well, the next foul will be a two-shot foul. Both ways.
But it's 1-1 here.
That's right.
This shot coming right here, obviously. It was huge a moment ago when he missed the front end of one. See if he can get this one. A lot of pressure on a freshman. He got it.
Well, this one theoretically should go down a little easier.
Martin ZENO. You'd love to have a little mechanism on his heart right now and see what the rate is. Missed the second one. Giddens rebounds, and the clock runs at 10 seconds.
Keith Langford has the ball. Same situation as against Georgia Tech on January 1st.
Drives in, and he scores with 4.1 seconds remaining. And Texas Tech wants a timeout.
Same exact situation as January 1st, New Year's Day in Allen Fieldhouse. Aaron Miles didn't have the basketball. Keith Langford had it. His ability to slash and get into the lane as his mom, Darlene Taylor, looks on. Ross doesn't want a foul. Langford gets all the way to the rim.
Coach Knight comes out to ask John Higgins exactly where they are going to get the basketball so they can design the play. 4.1 seconds left. And the first thing I ask you, do you put a big man on the man with the inbound pass?
Well, there's a couple ways to do it. If you put, here's the first thing, Ron. 4 seconds means if Ross or Jackson catches the basketball, he has at least 4 dribbles up the court. Too many times a guy will catch it, take a dribble or two, shoot the ball from half court with time still on the clock. So if you're Tech, you want to push the ball, get at least 4 dribbles. If you're, let's see what Bill Self does. I don't know that he needs to put someone on the ball.
Let me ask you this. If you're Bob Knight, you got 2 timeouts left. Do you make the pass called the timeout at midcourt?
Well, we saw Rick Barnes do it a year ago in here. Let's see what happens. Let's count the dribbles. 2, 3, 4. He's got
Jackson
the shot.
Got it off on time, off the mark, and we will go to overtime.
Well, how about Keith Langford? We talked about his slashing ability. He gets into the lane as well as anybody. Remember, Ron, these guys have played in 2 Final Fours, 3 Elite Eights, and a national championship game.
Langford with this shot right here, driving to the hoop. That ties the game, and that's how we stand. We've got overtime.
In that final minute.
Well, there's no question about that. Then that drive by Langford would not have mattered. Moody to jump it up against Giles, and it'll be Giddens, and he'll hand it right back to Miles. With the foul situation, you would have to think a slight edge in the favor of KU. Ball was kicked. They'll get a fresh 35.
And that's a great point. Both Dora and Giles inside.
Soljagic also with 4. Yep. So they don't have a lot of leeway. In fact, none.
You think Bill Self doesn't know his team after a year and a half? The ball in Langford's hands down the stretch.
J.R. Goodens, not a good shot. He shot that off the side of the glass.
Box and 1 right now. Let's see. Nope, back to the 3-2 zone. Tech does not want to guard the motion offense.
ZENO had it blocked by Moody, gets the follow.
Well, one thing Coach Knight has done is he's put Martin ZENO on the baseline. That means he's got great driving opportunities against the bigger and slower Moody and Simien.
Moody left all alone, but he's not going to put it up.
Well, left alone by design.
Yeah. Shot clock at 11, now 10. Langford looks up, 8 seconds, down to 7. Bounces to Simien, delivers the pass, and the foul was on the floor. I believe on Jarius Jackson. Yep, it's going to be on him. It'll be Moody who will go to the line.
Well, Wayne Simien saw Moody cut behind the defense, and even as he went up into his offensive move found Moody, and he'll shoot a pair.
57% free throw shooter. One more coming. Bends the knees, deep breath. Second one on the way, missed it.
Lane violation on Giles. He stepped in early. That will not make the general happy.
Any coach.
That's the incredulous look.
Moody got it.
Okay, remember that 1 point, Ron. That could be a big factor in this game.
Texas Tech with a 1-point lead, 71-70 in the first overtime. About to hit 3:40 left in the overtime.
And Ronald Ross barely got the ball over before committing a 10-second violation.
Jackson going to penetrate. The runner won't go. Dora tips it. Comes away to John. Stolen by Jackson, and he misses it.
Well, Jackson missed 2 bunnies in close. Not happy about that, but he stayed with it. We've seen that tonight from Jarius Jackson on the offensive glass. Just keep your eye on his ability to get into the lane. Watch him come up with this loose ball right here. Pokes it loose. Doesn't finish again, but stays with it and draws the foul.
Giddens picks up his 4th. Jackson knocks down the first one.
Jackson at about 80% on a season.
Got it.
atmosphere, Ron. As good as we've seen all year.
Oh, this is as good as anybody's seen in the country, for that matter. It has just been an answer to an answer to an answer. Two ball clubs that neither wants to give up. Somebody's going to have to here in a moment. We're about to go into 3 minutes left in overtime. Shot clock is down to 12. Miles looks up once. Simien got the screen. Back to Big Dub. Three-pointer on the way, not there. Miles got the rebound. Gives it to Simien, and he misses the shot. Moody. Off the mark. Ronald comes down to the basketball.
Ronald Ross took a deep breath, catching his breath as he brought it across midcourt.
What did he get? 4 offensive boards on that series.
This is a good time to use a little clock as well, unless you get a great look versus that zone. Keep your eye on ZENO on the baseline.
Dora left all alone. Newt Giles battles for it, taken down by Christian Moody. And because of the 4 fouls and those 2 players inside, that was all they could battle. They had to give up the fight. Kansas with a huge lead at rebounds as Gibbons fallen away, not there, and the ball knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay. Nope, it's going to go to Texas Tech. Not so sure that Christian Moody didn't get away with a little bit of a push in the back.
I was thinking the same thing. J.R. Giddens has had 4 point-blank three-pointers down the stretch, has not been able to convert any of them. Tech will stay in that little half-court trap back to the zone. They don't want to guard the Texas Tech motion offense. They'll take a calculated risk right here.
Jackson, shot clock is now at 12. 11 down to 10. Ross along the baseline. Stepped out of bounds.
Good defense by Christian Moody. I'm not sure Ross didn't just find himself in too much traffic.
You see Coach Knight saying he was pushed out of bounds, but no call. Tech continues to lead by 3. Clock is down to 1:20 in the first overtime. Inside to Simien. In and out. Not there. Rebounded by Giles.
That's about the closest Wayne Simien has got to the rim tonight, and he missed it at point-blank range.
Timeout is called by Texas Tech. They'll have 27 on the shot clock and 1:06 on the game clock. Let's take a break. Boy, what a good one. I hate to see this one end. We'll be right back with more from Lubbock. Back 73-70. Texas Tech on top. We're in overtime, and watch Simien here just a moment ago. He's got great position, but even All-Americans, when the pressure is on and fatigue is everywhere, you can miss the short jump hook.
Well, you're absolutely right. Simien has played 41 minutes tonight, and that's about the easiest look he's gotten all night inside. No double team.
So the situation, and if you just joined us, Dora, Giles, and Soljagic all with 4 fouls for the Red Raiders. They have the basketball. 25 seconds on the shot clock. 1:02 on the game clock in overtime.
Kansas stays in that 3-2 zone. We've seen that most of the second half.
Ronald Ross looks for the bouncer inside. There was nobody there. 9 seconds on the shot clock. The bouncer to Dora. 6 seconds. Down to 5. Jackson, nope. It is well off the mark, and Miles comes down with the rebound. But remember, 30 seconds on the shot clock. They're still down by 3.
Well, they've got 2 timeouts left. They got 1 timeout left. They don't need a 3, but they could get a quick basket and then a timeout.
Back to Langford. Slashes the middle, and it's off the mark. Moody has it. Moody with the follow, and he will score. 18 seconds left.
Kansas has to foul if they don't trap.
You don't want, but why would he pass to Dora? Hold on to it and get fouled himself. Let one of the guards have it. Don't give it to one of the poorer free throw shooters.
Well, Kansas electing to get the ball. Bob Knight not happy. He's telling Ronald
just what
you said, Ron. Hold on to the basketball. Now Dora does shoot 71%. Keep your eye on all this traffic inside. Moody finally comes up with the loose ball and scores. But this is a very good foul shooting team. But having said that, Dora at 71% is 7th on the Red Raiders.
So Bill Self is going to call their final timeout of the night. Sports Center is coming up immediately following our ball game. We're in overtime. Tech leading by 1 and a chance at
coaching right there. You've got Aaron Miles, a very good point guard, but going back to January 1st when Bill Self put everybody on the baseline, let Langford operate. He came through then, he came through, he has come through tonight.
Daryl Dora steps to the line. He is a sophomore out of Gonzales, Texas.
That has been an Achilles heel for a usually effective, efficient Texas Tech team.
Second one on the way. He got that one. 2-point ball game. Coach Knight wants a timeout. We have a 74-72 game in the first overtime. And now KU with an opportunity not only to tie, but an opportunity to win on the three-pointer.
Defense. Let's see if they do anything differently with Langford. You know, in that Georgia Tech game in regulation, they set a high ball screen for Langford, and it caused a lot of traffic at the top of the key. Langford said, put everybody on the baseline, coach, let me operate. If you're Tech, one thing I would do with Langford is make him use his right hand.
Mulai Mian walking out with a long talk with Aaron Miles as Aaron sets up to take the inbounds pass.
Let's see.
Langford is back there as well. Let's see what they do. Do they set the screen? They go to Langford. 13 seconds, down to 12. We'll count it under 10.
They're going to play it
Here
the same
comes
way.
Langford. Spin move on Ross. Lost it for a moment. Gets it off in the corner. Bounces inside. Won't go. And the tip with 1 second left.
I think it was Moody, but it could have been Ronald Ross because Simien missed it again. And I think Christian Moody got the basket.
Here's the outlet pass. ZENO. We have got a second overtime coming.
Well, Ronald, like he did, but you can't fault the young man for going after that rebound. Ron, Texas Tech did a good job of playing with 4 fouls in that first overtime.
Giles and Moody to jump it up, and the tip is going to go to Texas Tech.
Kansas stays in that zone again.
Jackson. ZENO. Dora almost lost it. Giles does lose it. Miles ripped it off his hand, but it'll stay with Tech in 11 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, we've seen a couple of times this year where the players on the court with the ball don't recognize that there's no changeover in the shot clock.
Jackson looks up at the clock, down to 8, down to 7. Shot is on the way too hard. Miles skies for the rebound. Simien reverses it, maybe unselfish too long. Langford gets it back though, and he will score. Simien had the shot, and he was very unselfish, passing it to Moody, and Christian wasn't looking for it.
How about Keith Langford? You know, in that Georgia Tech game, he scored 16 of his 18 points in the second half and overtime.
Dora. Ross back to Giles. Shot clock is at 10. Dora inside to Giles. A turnaround, not there. Ronald Ross had to back off because Gibbons had position, and KU with an opportunity to go up by 4 points in the second overtime. Knocked out of bounds by Ross. Ron Franklin, Fran Fraschilla, and Stacey Dale Schumann coming to you from Lubbock, Texas, and we are in a second overtime. Number 2 in the nation and undefeated in Big 12 Conference play. KU has been taken to the wire here tonight. Right now they lead in the second overtime by a couple, 76-74. Giddens with the three, in and out. Ross battles for the rebound, and as Moody goes to the floor on the held ball, possession error says it'll stay at this end of the floor with the Jayhawks.
How many times have you said in the last 10 minutes, Christian Moody? He has been all over the boards. You look at the faces of some of these young guys. They've been out here, some of them, for going on 50 minutes now.
Waiting for the inbounds pass. 3:13 left at our second overtime. Langford knows they have a fresh 35 seconds. No need to rush. Miles. Moody with the screen on Jackson. He'll take it onto the hoop. Fires back out. Langford for three. Got
What
it.
a pass by Miles.
And a 5-point lead by KU, 79-74 over the Red Raiders.
Aaron Miles got all the way to the rim, and then he found Langford because the penetration sucked 5 defenders inside.
Moody with the foul on Martin ZENO. Look at the ball moving back on the other end, Fran.
Well, great penetration. Keep your eye on the ball. Miles gets all the way inside. All 5 white shirts follow the ball. Langford spots up at the top of the key, knocks it down.
Christian Moody with his 5th foul. And as we check, you could see had off the side of the rim. ZENO makes it a 3-point lead. Got them both.
This young man is brilliant for a freshman. He's really stepped up.
(79-76). 2:15 left in our second overtime. Kansas on top. Giddens, that's going to be an air ball. Pulled in by Jarius Jackson.
Well, Giddens not effective off the dribble. We've seen that all year. Tech's best offense versus the zone has been ZENO on the baseline.
Ross for three. Newt. Giles battles for the rebound. Giddens comes down with it.
Now, Ron, Kansas must make the clock their friend by using as much of the shot clock as possible.
Yep, they're just running clock right now, and they turn it over. Giles calls a timeout. Has to as he's falling out of bounds. May not have been the timeout they wanted in the second overtime, but it avoided a turnover back to KU. One more look at it. The ball is tipped, and here Giles comes down with it and calls a timeout to Ed Hightower. In the first and not here in the second, but in the first overtime. But that play right there.
You never really know how that play can affect the outcome of the game, but certainly at that point turned out to be a big point.
So it's a 3-point margin, 79-76, second overtime. And we have 1:12 left to play in this overtime. Kansas leads.
There's the drive. Yep. Perfect setup. What they did, Ron, is they put ZENO on the baseline versus Sasha Khan. They cleared it out, and that allowed ZENO to beat him off the dribble.
So now it is not 1-1. We got a situation with 10 fouls, 2 opportunities. If you look at the guards for the Red Raiders tonight, what they've done, as ZENO misses another. Wow.
Well, these guards have kept Texas Tech in the game all night long, but they have come up a little short on the foul line.
Gets the second, now a 2-point ball game, and we are under a minute to play in the second overtime.
This now becomes the most critical possession of the second overtime.
Langford, Kong with the screen, off the mark with the shot. Tech battles for it, and the ball was out of bounds after the shot. It'll come back to the Red Raiders, and the shot clock is off. Let me ask you something.
Yep.
If you are Texas Tech,
yep,
do you run it down and try to come up with a 3-point shot, or do you just try to score 2, send it to a third overtime?
You don't run it down because you're behind, but if you can get an open 3, great. But what's been effective for them has been ZENO's ability to drive past the baseline. But remember, this team also shoots 45% from 3.
18 seconds down to 17. That's what we had left in the second overtime. KU leads it. 3-pointer on the way. Off the mark. Wouldn't go. Rebounded by Miles. And a travel is called. A travel is called on Miles. And Texas Tech will get another opportunity.
Miles thinks he got fouled, but it was a bad shot by Jay Jackson, who banked it off the backboard. Keep your eye on this shot right now. Miles comes up with it. And it's close. You know, it could have been a foul. It looked like traveling. I think he traveled. I think he was just trying to get away from the defense, and he shuffled his feet. That's right.
KU people thought a foul should have been called.
Now, Tech took the timeout, so they'll set up a play. And here's the interesting thing, Ron. Kansas has not used much zone all year, and I'm not sure tonight that they've played zone off of an inbounds play. So I wouldn't be surprised right here if they go man-to-man, because they have not played very much zone off of inbounds underplays all season long.
7.9 seconds left. It will be Martin ZENO who will inbound the ball.
Man to man.
They're going to go man. Here's Ross. Clock is down to 5. And of all people, yes! It's a 3-pointer, and it's a 1-point lead. Texas Tech, 2 seconds, down to 3.
Well, you could say Darryl Dora redeemed himself. He got a good look. He didn't hesitate. And he shot over the outstretched defender. Kansas went man-to-man. I'm not sure the freshman Khan was expecting the quick 3.
I'm not sure that the Texas Tech people were as well. He just took it. You could see he squared it up.
What he did, Ron, was he surprised the freshman. Khan was out contested, but he didn't have room. Dora calmly knocked it down. He realized that Khan was not in position to contest. And remember, this young man, Dora, at 6'9", does play on the perimeter. Now they'll check and see how much time Kansas will have. But watch Khan come out and doesn't really pressure up on him as Dora gets a good look.
I think they should, what, 3.5, maybe 3.6 seconds.
Well, they'll get it right because it's right here at the monitor. Well, Darryl Dora comes in shooting 39% from the beyond the arc. But because Moody fouled out, they had the inexperienced Khan on the court.
Well, the last time that the Jayhawks played a double overtime, they lost at Missouri. That was in 1997.
Now, Ron, Kansas has no timeouts left.
3.6, which is what we suggested, and that's what they're going to have left.
Right. Now, they're going to have to throw the ball, in my opinion, at least to midcourt, where they could then use 3 dribbles to get it to the rim. If they catch it too far in the backcourt, Kansas is going to end up with a desperation shot. This is what you practice every day.
So a situation, if you just joined us, it is Texas Tech on a 3-point prayer by Daryl Dora, one of the big men, and we'll take one more look, to give Tech a 1-point lead, and now KU with 3.6 seconds left in double overtime to try to come back and either tie it or get the win.
Well, keep your eye on Keith Langford. He's at midcourt.
Lee will pull the trigger. Here's Miles at midcourt, gets the shot away. Too hard. Tech wins. Tech wins.
Well, we've seen Bedlam in Oklahoma, but there's a little Bedlam out here tonight.
Let's take a look at the last shot put up by Kansas. Miles on the dribble. Jackson on him defensively, but he lets him go. Shot is too hard. And Daryl Dora's reaction, he's the man who got the three-pointer. Talk about improbable, yes. Impossible, no. He came up with a three-pointer at a time in a double overtime when you thought there was no opportunity for the Red Raiders to come from behind and win this basketball game, and they have in double overtime. The first loss for the Kansas Jayhawks in conference play this year. Dora being mobbed. And they're going to get him up the tunnel, which is very wise. They're going to need him for some more ball games, along with everybody else. This crowd in a frenzy. So many people with signs saying, all I want for Valentine's is an upset. And they have gotten it here tonight over the second-ranked team in the University of Kansas. So our final score in double overtime is Texas Tech 80 and Kansas 79. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. And now for Fran Fraschilla and Stacey Dale Schumann, I'm Ron Franklin from the South Plains in Lubbock, Texas. And here is the winner from Dora. It is 80-79 our final. Now let's send it back to the studio. Gentlemen.